Today is April 20th, 2023. Probably 4 or 5 years ago now, I remember reading this book by this doctor who worked at a hospital near Flint, Michigan when the whole water crisis there was happening. And if you don't remember what the Flint water crisis was, basically, I forget exactly how it happened, but the water supply to Flint, Michigan was switched from, I think it was one of the Great Lakes they were getting it out of, and instead it switched to a different source, some river, and they had to run the water through these old lead pipes that hadn't been used in a long time, and the corrosion started getting into the water supply, and it started making people super sick. And for the longest time, all the authorities, everyone was saying, oh no, it's safe, don't worry about it. People started complaining of smelly water or like dirty looking water, and they kept saying, nope, it's safe, just run your water for a little bit, and after that it'll be good to go and you can keep drinking it, no worries. And this doctor who was working at this hospital, even she was getting told by her superiors and stuff like, yeah, don't worry about it, it's fine. All the inspectors were saying it's fine, it's safe. Everyone was saying it's okay to drink. But this doctor started noticing these patterns in her patients, and they were just having all of these sicknesses that were very unusual, and they were showing up asking for her help. And eventually she put all the pieces together and discovered all this corruption going on within the government and the government agencies and the hospital, and everyone was like colluding behind the scenes to basically make money off of this crisis when they had solutions to it, but they didn't want to deal with implementing them because they would have lost money, even though all these people in Flint, Michigan were getting super sick. And this might be a little late to talk about now, but I think it's still relevant and something we should learn from. And I'm not talking about the Flint water issue. Yes, we should know about that and what happened there. But I'm talking about the COVID pandemic and especially the vaccines. For the longest time, we were told, yep, totally safe, no side effects, don't worry about it. And to the point where it was being pushed on people, and if they questioned it at all, they were fired from work or punished in some way. They weren't able to participate in society. Many doctors were ostracized from the medical community. It was pretty rough stuff if you decided not to get the vaccine for a lot of people. And I remember reading a Yale study back, I think it was in July 2020, June or July of 2020, before the vaccines had even been approved. There was this study done by the psych department at Yale trying to see which messaging would get people to take the vaccine. And it was super creepy because it was all the stuff that we started seeing as it was being rolled out, oh, you don't trust science, you don't care about grandma, you're spreading misinformation, you're hurting people, it's supposed to be there for the protection of other people. Like, all of these messages that we saw regarding the rollout of the vaccine were studied at Yale, and it was assumed that the vaccine was just going to be this awesome thing for society. But now in hindsight, looking back, there's all kinds of stuff coming out There's all kinds of side effects that people had to deal with. I have friends that dealt with extremely severe side effects. One of them had to have both of her feet amputated, her hand and 3 fingers amputated because of a reaction to the COVID vaccine. Like, these weren't just little side effects that, oh yeah, you can blow off. Like, healthy athletes were just collapsing out of nowhere. There was all kinds of stuff going on. And in the meantime, the vaccine wasn't even that effective anyways. Who's to say whether it was instrumental in ending the pandemic at all? What if COVID just ran its course and that's what happened, and we were just told that this vaccine was safe and that was the way out? Tons of doctors tried to question it and they lost their jobs. People in the medical community were saying, hey, let's just at least examine the side effects to see if there are any. Nope, we're just gonna sweep it under the rug. You can't talk badly about the vaccine. Meanwhile, the pharmaceutical companies that were making them were padding their pockets with billions of dollars while remaining legally immune. And again, it was forced on people. Like, they weren't given an option. Oh, yeah, maybe I should take this. I'm feeling, like I'm vulnerable. I want to take it. That's fine. But if you go to another person and say, you have to take this, even though it hasn't been studied properly, and there's all of these side effects coming out, you're still going to push it on people? It's just like the Flint water crisis. Everyone's saying, oh yeah, it's safe, it's safe. This is good, it's safe. Pfizer just released all of these documents recently. They wanted to keep them hidden for like 70 years or something, but they were forced to release them, and the documents talk about all kinds of stuff that Pfizer knew. But didn't tell anyone about. So we have to pay attention to these things, because there's still a lot of people who have no idea that there's even another perspective to these vaccines. Because the mainstream media and the government and these pharmaceutical companies gaslit everyone into believing they were crazy if they even raised any questions. That's what it was. It was gaslighting. Like, oh no, you're crazy if you question this. And even now, way after the fact, when these side effects and different problems and the corruption has been established, you can look it up. Even now, I could just be canceled for talking about this. It's wild stuff. We need to remember what happened, because it's really easy to forget really quickly. We're back to normal life. Everything seems to be going fine, it's smooth, peaceful. Although I would argue our society's kind of crumbling, but on the surface, it's, fairly peaceful. We're not dealing with what we had in 2020, but that's going to come again. Maybe not as a virus, but in some other way. And we have to be aware of these tactics that people in powerful positions use. Otherwise, we're just going to fall for the same thing again. So, I don't mean to be cynical. I know this was kind of a rant, but I still see people talking positively about this vaccine like it was just all perfect and did so much for ending the pandemic. And we have no idea. Maybe it was. I don't know that either. I can't say it for sure wasn't helpful at all, but there's no way I'm gonna say that it was like perfect, nothing bad with it, you know, and it might not have been instrumental. That's a possibility. It's possible that COVID just ran its course and eventually fizzled out, and people are just attributing it to the vaccine. So that's my rant. I probably have more, honestly, that I could talk about, but that's all I'm going to give you today. Peace.